at Thanksgiving dinner, right before we carved the turkey. My sister stood up, smiled like a queen, and said we had a family vote. You're not part of this family anymore. Everyone clapped, even my mom. Thanksgiving dinner. But they didn't know what I brought in my bag that night. They thought I'd cry. But instead, I made them scream. Thanksgiving dinner. Cranberry sauce, laughter, and then silence, because that's when my sister, Bree, stood up, gently tapped her wine glass with a fork, and said, "Before we slice the pie, there's something we need to say." My stomach dropped. I knew that tone, that bright, fake cheery voice she used before, unleashing hell in a sundress. Bree glanced around the table like a judge passing sentence. Her husband straightened his tie. My mom dabbed her mouth. My uncle smirked. Then Bree smiled, that sharp, self-satisfied smile she's perfected since we were kids, and said, "We took a family vote, and we've decided you're not family anymore." The silence was so loud I heard the hum of the fridge from the other room. My fork froze mid-air. My cousin gasped, and then, like a sick comedy, they started clapping. Uncle James actually toasted his glass like it was a wedding. My aunt muttered, "Finally." Even my mom, my own mom, let out this half-hearted chuckle and said, "Well, it had to be said eventually." I looked around the table. No one met my eyes. My brother-in-law looked down. My dad just sipped his whiskey and muttered, "It's probably for the best." That's when I knew this wasn't impulsive. This was planned. "Wow," I said, pushing my chair back slowly. "You guys actually rehearsed this, didn't you? You've made everything so toxic." Bree's smile grew wider. "You bring negativity wherever you go. We're just choosing peace. We just couldn't keep pretending anymore." "Toxic," I repeated. "You make everything about yourself," she said, reaching for a bread roll like she didn't just stab me in the chest. I looked at my mother. She nodded. "It was unanimous," she added. "Fork to cranberry sauce." Like it was the weather, I looked down at my plate. The turkey was cold. My blood was boiling. Good. I reached under the table and pulled my tote bag into my lap. "I figured something like this might happen," I said, unzipping it slowly. "What's that?" Bree asked, her voice tightening. I pulled out a thick black binder, heavy, labeled, "Tab Die." "What is this? Why don't you find out?" I said, sitting back in my chair. She rolled her eyes, yanked it open, and flipped to the first page. Every loan, every bill, every lie I covered, every insult you all hurled at me in texts you didn't think I saw. She stopped, her lips twitched. The second page made her jaw tighten. The third made her face go pale. By the fifth, her hand was shaking. "What the hell is this?" she whispered. "That," I said, "is every favor I ever did for this family." Her fingers curled like claws over the pages. She looked up at me, eyes wide. "You psycho. Tracking us?" "No," I said calmly. "I've been documenting your abuse." Joel, her husband, leaned over her shoulder and started flipping pages. His eyes narrowed. "Wait, what's this charge?" "Bree, this is your credit card. And this hotel in Miami." Bree's had snapped to him. It was a work thing. Joel looked at me. "Who's Evan?" I didn't have to answer, because page 12, tabbed and highlighted, had screenshots, text messages, Instagram DMEs, receipts. "I didn't want it to come to this," I said softly. "But since we're being honest today." Mom dropped her fork. Uncle James cleared his throat and reached for his drink. My cousin quietly slid her phone out to record. "You see," I said, "you didn't cut me off. I left you months ago. You just didn't realize it." "You're sick," Bree whispered. "You actually made a binder like a villain in a TV show." "I'm prepared," I replied. "Something you've never been." They had no idea. Bree looked like she wanted to flip the table. Joel looked like he wanted to disappear. And my mom, the woman who once told me I was her little warrior, wouldn't even look at me. They expected me to cry, to beg, to fight for my seat at their table. Instead, I stood up. "You want to know why I distanced myself?" I said. "It wasn't one thing. It was all of it. The way you laughed at me for not having kids. The way you mocked my career. The way you made me your emotional and financial punching bag for years." Bree was breathing hard now. "You think I'm dramatic? I paid your rent. Twice. When Joel lost his job, you called me. When Mom's insurance lapsed, I covered it. When Dad crashed his car, I made the down payment on the replacement. And what did I get in return? Silent. "All right," I said. "I got voted out." Bree screamed, actually screamed, lunged at the binder and slammed it shut like she could erase it. "You ruined everything. she shouted. But the moment I stopped giving, suddenly I was poison. You waited for the one moment we were finally happy. You mean happy without me? I said. You made that clear. Joel held the binder now. He looked like a man who had just found out his house was built on a sinkhole. You called me family when it was convenient, I said. That I've legally removed myself from any financial or medical responsibility for any of you. Effective immediately. They didn't reply, so I gave them one more thing. I pulled out a manila envelope, thinner than the binder, and slid it to my mother. She opened it with trembling hands, and gasped. What is this? It's notice, I said. You can't, she whispered. I already did. They stared at me like they didn't recognize me, but I'd never felt more me. Happy Thanksgiving, I said. Then, I grabbed my coat, and walked out the front door. For the first time in my life, I didn't look back. I didn't go home right away. I drove past the neighborhood I grew up in, past the high school where Bree used to lie and say I bullied her to get out of detention, past the diner where Mum and I used to get pie on Fridays, back when she still remembered how to be kind. Eventually, I pulled over at a rest stop by the lake. The wind cut through the trees, but the silence was beautiful. For the first time in years, my phone wasn't buzzing with family demands. No, can you just spot us till Friday? No, guilt-laced, we're having dinner Sunday. Don't be selfish. No, Ellie really wants her uncle. Their texts meant to twist my heart. Just me, alone, and free. But freedom doesn't mean they stopped trying. 3 days later, the silence shattered. It started small. A text from Mom. We went too far. You know, we didn't mean it. No apology, just damage control. Then Bree sent one too. You humiliated me. You blindsided everyone. I hope you're happy. I didn't reply. The next one, Ellie won't stop crying. She misses you. You're breaking her heart. And there it was. The playbook. Step 1, deny. Step 2, attack. Step 3, guilt. I blocked her number. Then came my dad, a single voicemail. Still your family. This is ridiculous. We're still your family. Call your mother. Still your family. That phrase rang in my head. Like a mosquito I couldn't swat. Because they weren't saying we're sorry. They were saying we miss what you did for us. The free rides, the free cash, the free therapy, the actual me. They never really saw me at all. The next week I froze every joint account they had access to, changed passwords, removed myself from any paperwork they could exploit. And with every step I took, the tighter the silence grew. Until Christmas Eve. That's when it got loud again. I was making tea when my phone buzzed. A picture from my mom, their living room. Tree up. Stockings hung, and right in the middle, a giant space under the tree. The caption, "It doesn't feel the same without you." I stared at it. Not a single word of regret. Just more manipulation dressed in tinsel and nostalgia. I didn't respond. Minutes later, Bree again. Ellie made you a card. Just come by for 10 minutes, please. 2 minutes after that, Mum and Dad are behind on their mortgage. I thought you should know. There it was. The ask, wrapped in guilt, dipped in sugar, but underneath, still the same thing. We need you. Come save us. I blocked the number again. On Christmas Day, I sat on my balcony with hot cocoa and a book. No chaos, no fake gratitude, no freezing cold passive-aggressive dinners. And for once, it felt like an actual holiday. But it didn't end. In January, I got a call from an unknown number. I picked up out of habit. "Hi, is this Mason?" a man's voice asked. He said, "You're the executor of the family trust." "Yes, who's calling?" "My name is Richard. I'm calling on behalf of your father." I blinked. I revoked that 2 months ago. He paused. He wasn't aware. Of course he wasn't, because in his world, my boundaries don't exist. I hung up without another word. But the final blow came in February. A letter, handwritten. No return address. But I knew my mother's handwriting. Page 1 was soft. We said things we didn't mean. "We miss you. We love you. You've always been the strong one." Page 2 twisted the knife. "Your father's health is worse. Bree is a mess. Ellie's confused. We're falling apart without you." And page 3, that was the real reason for the letter. "We're selling the house. We're underwater. We just need a little help to get through this. Please, Mason, for the family." I sat there for a long time, letting it wash over me. Every word was familiar. Every sentence designed to sound like love, but built on control. They didn't want me back. They wanted the version of me who didn't say no. The fixer, the bank, the emotional punching bag in a button-up shirt. So I folded the letter and tossed it in the trash. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I just felt done. Completely, entirely, soul deep. The days that followed were different. I woke up earlier. I went for runs. I took deep breaths and didn't feel like I was carrying 50 years of obligation on my back. I updated my emergency contacts. Started therapy. Not because I was broken, but because I was finally allowed to take care of myself. I deleted every text, blocked every number, and opened a brand new checking account that no one but me could access. And slowly, I started rebuilding. I applied for a job in another city, not because I was running, but because I was free. I even reconnected with old friends I'd distanced myself from for years. People who didn't ask for money, didn't ask for favors, just wanted to see me. A week later, I got one final surprise. A message from Joel. To me. To all of us. You were the only honest one in the room. I filed for divorce. Everything in your binder checked out. She lied. You deserved better. Then, I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't reply. But I read it twice, maybe 3 times. Then I went for another walk. And for once, I didn't check my phone. Some people think peace is quiet, that it's the absence of chaos, of sound. But that's not it. It's when you finally stop shrinking yourself, just to keep other people comfortable. When your phone rings and your first thought isn't, what now? It took months, but I got there. Got that job in Portland I never applied for before, because family needed me nearby. New apartment, new start. No one guilt-tripping me for not showing up to Sunday dinner. No more. Can you just help one more time? Texts. Just me. And for the first time, that was enough. But with people like them, peace never lasts forever. The next hit came in late March. Another letter, handwritten, same delicate handwriting. Only this time, it was shorter. 3 words. No salutation. No signature. We're still family. I stared at it. No apology. No ownership. No change. Just that same old fishing line tossed out to see if I'd bite. I didn't. I folded the letter, walked to the trash, dropped it in without a second thought. Then I made dinner. That's when it hit me. I didn't feel anything. No guilt. No grief. No aching hollow. Just nothing. And that nothing. That was everything. That night I posted my story online. Not for revenge. Not for sympathy. I just needed it out. I needed someone, anyone, to know the truth I'd buried for so long. I didn't expect it to go viral, but it did. Thousands of people read it, commented, messaged me, and the wildest part, they got it. Strangers understood me more than my own family ever did. Some said, you were brave. They didn't deserve you. You chose freedom. That matters. Others asked, what if they change? And honestly, I'd asked myself the same thing. But here's the truth. They didn't change. After the folder, after the screaming, after the letters and the silence and the guilt bombs, they didn't reflect. They regrouped. They plotted. Then they tried again. They never listened. They just recalculated. Because it was never about loving me. It was about using me. And now that I was gone, really gone, they weren't mourning me. They were mourning the loss of their favorite tool. But me, I got something better. I got peace. I got sleep. I got to laugh without it being at my expense. I got to be without owing anyone anything. Now, I wake up early. I go for hikes. I started reading again. Books I actually enjoy, not self-help books. I used to buy hoping I could fix the family with the right quote. I started volunteering, not out of obligation. Not because someone begged, just because it feels good to give when giving is a choice. And sometimes, I think about Ellie. I wonder what she's being taught. What story they've told her about me, that I abandoned them, that I'm bitter, that I was never really family to begin with. But deep down, I hope that one day she sees it clearly, that she understands I didn't walk away because I didn't care. I walked away because no one else was brave enough to say, this isn't love. And I hope, if she ever finds herself in the same kind of storm, she remembers the uncle who finally said, enough. Because here's what I know now. Being family doesn't mean access. It doesn't mean loyalty without limits. It doesn't mean destroying yourself so everyone else can stay comfortable. It means respect. It means accountability. It means choice. And I finally chose me. So, yeah, they voted. They clapped. They called me toxic, cold, dramatic, But I'm the one who walked away. I'm the one who burned the bridge they built out of guilt. I'm the one who rebuilt himself, brick by brick, without asking for applause. And you want to know something wild? I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm living, truly, finally.